in Maryland, right? That they should, or is that stadium in DC proper? The Bullets?
Where the Wizards play.
I mean the Bullets, the Wizards. I
Yeah,
just showed my
that,
age
that's
with that one.
that's in DC.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I guess they could survive it, but I don't know, man. It's not gonna affect us basketball wise, because Sean Marks did the right things, and it might just open up, uh, a place for Cam Thomas. Now, was there anything that got you excited outside of, like, let's put this Kyrie stuff behind us? We talked about it way too long. Um,
Yeah.
did anything get you excited? I have two things.
I mean, look, I'm super pumped about Patty. I really am. I think he, like, in a way, was like kind of what I mean. As you said this on the podcast this summer a million times, if they have Mills instead of like Shamit or Tyler
Right.
Johnson or whoever, they're probably beating the Bucks. Um,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's gonna be awesome. The fans are gonna love him. I think I actually think, like, people are talking about how I saw there was some stupid article in, like, the Daily News or somewhere where, like, that was like, oh, like, the Nets say that Claxton's role is going to increase, but, like, how is that possible with all the big guys? Like, the Nets big guys are old. They're gonna play in the playoffs, but, like, it's gonna be fun to see him get his. I think him and Harden seem like they're close. I know Claxton went to Houston with Harden this summer for Harden's softball tournament in
Hmm.
H-Town. So, like, that they're developing a connection, and Claxton's the one who knows that his money is going to come from whatever Harden gives him, running, like, the pick and roll and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He
I'm pumped.
he
I'm
surprised me.
pumped
He
to see
didn't come
him.
in. He didn't come in bigger. I
Yeah,
was surprised that.
he says he's two. I saw him. He said that he's 225, which to me still seems light for someone his size. But, like, I mean, I think I may have came up with this theory this summer, which was that if you saw Claxton's pictures and you thought he looked like he got bulkier, then you're a homer. But
Yeah.
if you saw them for what he is, which is, like, the dude is still unbelievably thin, and, like, just because you can see his bicep, that's, like, usually what happens when people are very thin.
Yep.
Like, like, like
He's always been cut up.
like no one's doubting that, like, the dude is, like, toned. The issue is that, like, I want him to look like how more like how Sharp looks, who I think looks really good.
I,
Um,
I he's still big, but he's big bone. He's supposed to
yep,
be that big, and
yeah,
he went to work this summer. I'm proud of that kid. That, like, seeing him and Claxton vibing together, and made me happy, and also just seeing everybody else smiling. Like, that was just so dope. Like, even KD, who's usually just, a grumpy Gus, you know, um, this stuff is tedious. I could get that. But they really believe they can win. I think last year proved to them that they can win. Um, and to see just, you know, Harden just up for it, like, hyped, screaming, getting caught on the mic screaming. Uh, but it's just so great to see how positive everybody was. Like, those things matter, man. Like, I, it if like I was seeing clips of the some of these other teams, and there's a cloud over a lot of them. Like, you
yep.
can't tell me Philly doesn't have a cloud over
No,
them,
they're
man.
a yeah.
You
That
know,
organization is pathetic.
the Bucks look happy. Of course, they're champions, but
Yep,
they got a chip on their shoulder because everybody keeps telling them that the Nets are still better than them. And
yep,
but still, like, just the positivity, like, everybody's there to work, everybody's ready. This kid, I yo, I'm sorry. I know I said I wasn't gonna get in front of myself with Cam Thomas. Uh, but audience, New York City, we lied to you. And I'm putting you in my lie too, Sam. We lied to you. I'm hyped over Cam Thomas. That's
yep,
why I don't care about none of this Kyrie stuff. If Kyrie misses 40 games, I think that's maybe 10, 15 minutes more for Cam Thomas to just make mistakes and get better. And who knows? If he's as good as we think he is, like scoring is always going to make you look better than what you really are. That's why we're all so excited about him. He probably couldn't, you know, defend ending the war on drugs, but he is seriously a good offensive talent. And on those like long nights where everybody doesn't feel like playing, just put the energetic rookie in there and let him just go off, man. I don't know how we got that lucky, man, but it's just the positivity for me. Those are the two things. Seeing everybody in shape and seeing everybody positive. I couldn't be happier, man. Do you agree? Am I being overly positive?
No, I mean, dude, that's why I started off the pod being like, this Kyrie thing's annoying because I'm so happy that it's back. I mean, as me and you have texted off air, the other sports teams in this city are so fucking gross,
miserable.
Like just totally like not even like, oh, they're bad, oh, they're rebuilding, like have no idea what they're doing, totally lost. I guess if you're a Yankee fan, you have a cautious optimism right now, but like besides
we swept the Red Sox. I still don't. We swept the Red Sox in Fenway, and I still don't feel optimistic.
Yeah, right. The season has still overall been unbelievably disappointing, and the football teams are now, I think, what's the stat? They're like 20-39 in their last 10 seasons in September. So the teams are totally pathetic, and that's why I can't wait for the NBA season to start. I mean, the draft was the start of it, and then free agency made it super fun as it always is. And look, I think the team going to San Diego is also a good thing. I'm pumped about that. I'm hoping that having them all in a place, honestly, away from the New York media will actually quiet down some of the vaccine stuff, and hopefully it'll give Cy and Marks the ability to like talk to Kyrie and everyone. Obviously, I mean, I think a lot of these guys already are obviously close and know each other, but I'm pumped. We still got to see who's going to get that 16th spot. It seems like it's between Bembry and Sekou, because Marks and everybody keeps talking about Javon Carter as if he's on the team. So
yeah, I noticed that too.
Yes, which look, I think Javon Carter is going to be a guy that this podcast loves because he has no quit, and he's a guy who's going to annoy the shit out of
he's like a poor man's Avery Bradley.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. It was I think I said this on another podcast. I think it was Fran Fraschilla or someone said that Javon Carter is still to this day the best defensive guard prospect he's ever seen in college. And he's like
really?
Bob Huggins, West Virginia dude. Like the dude means fucking business. And I think he's going to annoy the shit out of the Jaylen Browns and the and Brogdon. And Kyle Lowry and all those, and Drew Holiday and all those dudes. I think he's going to be a humongous pain in the ass. So I'm looking forward to that.
Here's my response to that though.
Yep.
Don't you think Javon and Bruce Brown is kind of repetitive?
No, because I think. So I think that's a good point. I haven't heard anyone bring that up. I don't, only because I actually think that
that Bruce Brown is a power forward.
He's so weird. And second of all, like I don't know how I can't tell yet how great of a like on the perimeter defender Bruce Brown is, as opposed to like just being kind of a right spot, right time type of guy. And Carter, Carter is so one-track minded and isn't really asked to do anything else that I kind of like the idea of just like plugging him in and being like a humongous pain in the ass. Like I think having a guy like Carter really helps for like the hockey sub type thing. Like just get the guy in for 3 minutes and make whatever point guard is in there just exert a ton of energy and tire the shit out of them.
For me, I think now that we have so many guys with length and so many guys that defend, like the only reason why I would be more hyped for Sekou than like someone like a James Johnson is because James can't run the floor anymore. You know what I mean? Like I I think in Sekou they have a player that can only get better in this Nets organization. They have a player that they could think about this. We were trotting Alize Johnson out there and was happy about it. You know what I mean? Like as much as I love Alize, he's not a lottery pick. Sekou's a lottery pick with flaws. He's a new basketball player. Um and all this other stuff, like people saying his age isn't real, like that's borderline racist stuff. No one's saying Luka's age isn't real. The kid was born in France, was raised in France. Like they know how old he is. They didn't know he was going to be a basketball player when he got to France at 3 years old. So give me a break. But nonetheless, I think Sekou could be somebody that develops into, or that surprises without the pressure of being the savior. Like in Detroit, he was the draft pick. He was the high draft pick. He was there to be a part of what fixes Detroit, but he wasn't a big enough figure to fix what's wrong with Detroit. No, I don't think one player can fix what's wrong in Detroit. So, it was unfair to think that he could do that, but he has ability, that kid. So I just hope he's able to prove it out. It's hard to do on a veteran team, but I think he could do wonders just being on the side of Harden, like when KD sits down and just plays, lockdown bulldog defense, runs the court, finishes on fast breaks, and just gives the team energy. We don't have a lot of that. We have it in bigs, in the form of Claxton, but you need a little bit of length, to defend the wings, and I think Sekou could do that. I think he's gonna raise a lot of eyebrows. His offense, I don't know how along it's coming, but I think it's gonna look a lot better than it did in Detroit because of who's going to be on the court with him. Even Joe Harris makes a kid like that better. He's never even played with a Joe Harris. Think about that. That's as much as we are negative Joe Harris people until he hits a few threes and we get all happy. But I don't know, man. Javon Carter makes sense, I guess. Seems repetitive with what we already have. But I'm if he's that good at defense, I'm with it. I kind of think he's a poor man's Avery Bradley, but I'll take it. I'll take it if his D is going to be that good.
In a weird way, I'm pivoting a little bit, but I actually think that the coaching staff that they have for this year is arguably better than it was last year. And last year it had some really special guys. Like I think Adoko was probably the underrated MVP of the team. But
yep.
As you know, following basketball as close as you do, Vanderpool is fucking beloved by players.
Oh yeah,
that dude is that.
And stat geeks.
What's that?
And stat geeks. I don't know why, but amongst basketball nerds, they love Vanderpool.
He is Dame's guy, McCollum's guy. Everybody who's been with him for a short period of time fucking loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you talked about this. We were super amped when we found out Clifford was becoming a advisor.
Yep.
I don't know. I like having the Clifford old school. I think Clifford's a disciple of the Riley Knicks and stuff like that. So I'm all in on that. I think that's going to be great. I love that you got Korver and Amari there. So it's not.
Yeah, who would have thought last year that Amari Stoudemire would be the assistant coach that would stick?
Amari's. I think Amari's a great guy to have for the guys like Sharp and Claxton.
Yep.
We'll see if what happens with Raekwon Gray and the Long Island team. Honestly, the Long Island Nets are going to be a must-get ticket. I honestly want to go to one of their games, given who might be playing for them. But,
really, I wasn't that impressed, but now you make me more hopeful. I you know what they got rid of that I used to like to do? Sometimes I would be in Long Island and I would just go, if I happened to be in Long Island visiting my parents, I would go to they would have lunchtime games.
Oh,
and you
really?
could just pop. Yeah, you could just pop off the highway